Hello guys, today I want to discuss Samito's recent video where he talks about Moira. For those who may not know me, I am currently rank 44 support NA and have two accounts over 4400 with a 68% average win rate on Moira. One important thing to take from this is that I play against other Moiras in top 500 as a solo queue support and still win a majority of my games. I have played Moira since she was released. The main reasons I chose to main her is that I really like her lore and character design. She is a super prickly support and is often underestimated. This video is not meant to bash Samito for coming after my favorite healer, I just want to clear up some misinformation. Many of Samito's points seem to be coming from an emotional response rather than a logical one.
Okay, well, we're not really running the comp for it, but I'm going to show y'all why Moira is broken. She does too much while requiring like almost no mechanics for that value.
First off, I am a little confused how you are going to show us this while smurfing in plat. You are a top 500 DPS player while playing in plat. You could most likely demonstrate that any character is broken in this environment. Also, you touch on the idea that Moira doesn't require mechanical skill. I will say that Moiras without good mechanics will never make it past Diamond. While she can still provide value without having perfect mechanics, Moira's effectiveness is greatly improved with good aim. I will touch on this throughout the video.
Her damage orb is just a stupid ability in general. It doesn't fit a support's kit. It takes no skill and it's all RNG.
You say the damage orb does not fit a support's kit, has no skill, and is pretty much all RNG. Have you considered that supports need damage abilities to be able to balance out their kit and provide utility beyond healing? You claim that damage orb requires no skill and is RNG, yet you never explain your reasoning during this video. If you think your points are self-evident, I don't see why you don't just explain yourself. From my experience in top 500, orbs must be precisely aimed and thought out in order to get maximum effectiveness. When throwing an orb, I have a primary reason for the orb, but I also think about how the orb will continue to provide use if it is not depleted with its initial use. I make sure the secondary use will be fulfilled with the first bounce of the orb. Orbs are also great tools to ward off some ultimates, and I often save them in anticipation of enemy abilities. These small things may seem trivial, but this is what separates good Moiras from mediocre ones.
Not all RNG. It's like 90% RNG though. Like I can throw this damage. Look at this. Her ult also charges in insanely fast. So they got a Sigma. I don't want to throw my orb at the Sigma. I want to throw it to his right so he doesn't eat it. A good Sigma players would eat that damage orb. That's 12% ult just by right clicking at their team.
Her ult does charge fast, but it is not unsimilar from Ana's ult or other DPS ults in terms of charge rate. To clear up some numbers, damage orb will give roughly 8 to 9% charge max. You get the rest of the ultimate charge from passive generation. Also, while it is a good idea to throw orbs to the side of Sigma, in most cases, getting Sigma to use his kinetic grasp early in a fight with an orb is a really good trade-off. I sometimes try and bait it, so if a Reaper is looking for a good Death Blossom, he'll be able to get it off.
All I did was right click at their team, and I just got 12% of my ultimate. Like I got 30% of my ult, and all I did was throw orbs in their general.
A few things here. No, you also healed a bit for that ult charge. You seem astounded at the fact that you already have 30% ult in 23 seconds into the game. This is not uncommon for many heroes in this game. Getting ult charge from spamming slightly aimed shots down long sightlines is also not uncommon.
Back up, you don't have Moira. This is the problem running Sigma Hog. If we had an Orisa, this would be better.
Well, maybe if you played at your correct rank, you wouldn't have these team composition issues.
Oh my god, only me, by the way. So also, you're gonna see my luck with RNG this game. So,
where are you?
yeah, we're all dead, brother. I'm throwing a heal orb, man. Just drop down, McCree. So I'm just gonna keep healing him. I haven't really done anything that requires mechanics this whole time, and yet I'm 60% of my ult, even though I died once.
You mentioned that nothing you have done here required mechanics, yet you are 70% to an ultimate. This could be said about any main healer in the game. Every main healer in this game does not require intense mechanical skill to heal with. Mercy, Ana, Baptiste are all very easy to rack up heals with despite having poor mechanics.
Gotta heal my Lucio up. And I literally have my ult already.
Yes, you are 90% to ult more than 1 minute into the game. This is not surprising or broken.
Oh shit. I'm really outskilling this Mei. I'm gonna call to finish on this fight, and I'm just gonna call the Ana first, just because she has no sustainabilities. And I'm just gonna call them down, but there's nothing they can do.
Well, considering your DPS killed 3 right before you ulted without much help from yourself, I would not be surprised that your ult was able to clean up the rest of their team. I will note that you are playing really passively on this point. Your DPS did all the work, he merely cleaned up the stragglers with that ult, and should not have used it there in the first place.
There's nothing they can do. And the main problem with this is not only can I do all of that while requiring almost no mechanics, I also have escapability and I'm doing more damage than most of my team. With a comp that's not optimal against their comp, and it didn't require any mechanical skill from me.
Remember that you're playing at a skill rating almost 2000 SR below your own. Not to mention, you are not even on fire at the end of this team fight. You did not contribute to this team fight as much as you think you did.
Like, I could not do this on a hero like Ana, who actually is demanding.
Yes, you could do that on Ana, unless you seriously want me to believe that you are incapable of carrying on Ana in plat.
And that's the problem. Can you stop the heals this year real quick? Thank you, man. And look at this. And then in the next fight, I've already started charging my ult again because their Sigma's never eating my stuff, right?
Well, yes, that is how ult charge works. You got some spam damage in on the players trying to regroup and are now at 30% to your next ultimate. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Back up, back up, back up. We don't want to peek that bar. Just wait it out. Just wait it out. It's fine. Okay, just get our resources back and just wait. I need to get my healing back a little bit. Dude, damn. I probably should be throwing healers on myself, but our Lucio's gonna be able to heal me. Break the wall. I can't heal you, Sigma. Come here, come here, come here, come near Moira. He's gonna die. I can't help him. Yeah. That's Moira for you, bro.
Once again, your Genji gets 3 kills with his ult in their backline and your Hog kills another, yet you claim that you are the reason that your team won that fight. You are still not on fire. This is a really good indicator that you are not contributing to these kills.
Wait, I need to get healing off him. I have to be getting my healing back. That's the one thing I'm not doing. It's like...
Your secondary fire accuracy is not good for a DPS player. You need to be right-clicking more. I'm gonna be honest in saying that you are playing an extremely passive Moira.
This hero, like, it's funny. Like, she got, people said that everyone was complaining about Moira, right? And, like, no one was complaining about Moira before 222. We all said she was bad. Well, one, and they're like, well, nothing's changed with the character. Well, they said this. One, she got buffed. She got buffed coming into 222. Damn, this Magus keeps, like, hitting me of all people. Like, okay, I'm just gonna heal on the Reaper. She got buffed, and 222 is a much better setting for Moira, especially with how the meta revolves around her. Yes, I agree, the meta helped her a lot. Oh my. These heroes are so... He's dead.
I actually agree with some of the stuff you're saying here. Moira is very good in a 2-2-2 environment. She'll always have tanks to heal up in order to get ult charge really fast, and her ult is very hard to deal with against supports other than Moira. This meta was indeed a buff to Moira.
I'm just gonna heal him and get out. Like, I don't know, she gets her ult so fast. She's got one of the best ults in the game, in my opinion, and for this meta. Her ult definitely got buffed in this meta. So I wouldn't really consider her ult to be broken or anything. But, like, I'm fragging out and I'm not doing anything of merit. Like, I'm not doing anything that should be rewarding me. Like, if I did what I'm doing on other characters on Moira, it wouldn't matter. Arissa, can you pull them together right now? And Porkle is just so good.
You had an orb that you could have thrown before ulting here. Minor things like this are what separate good Moiras from better Moiras.
I can literally just flank to kill this Mercy too. Like I haven't done anything of value. I just use my ability. Like, the abilities that I'm using are doing the work for me. My mechanics aren't using the ability to further emphasize my mechanics and give value.
That is mostly because you're playing super passive for a top 500 DPS player. You are playing in plat, so you do not have to provide the same value that a Moira in top 500 has to provide. You are sailing through this game on your general game sense that you applied to Moira. Of course Moira will seem brainless when you literally don't have to think about decision making because you are playing at a lower rank. Also, if you were to try and stretch your mechanics to the limit, you would see your value to these fights greatly increase. One thing I have noticed is that you switch targets way too much when you are using DPS. Staying on one target will secure solo kills rather than what is going on here. During this teamfight, your DPS and tanks are contributing a lot to the wins. It's foolish to ignore this.
What I'm doing doesn't require mechanical skill, but I'm still getting value from it.
While it may seem that you are not applying mechanical skill here, you are a skilled player who already has good aim. From what I have seen so far, you are using aim I would not expect from a plat support player.
Nice day, Blizzarded, nice. And that's the problem that Moira has. See if I can kill this Mercy. Yeah, I'm the DPS Moira that you hate. Sure, chat. You can find me all you want. And look at this. I've already farmed almost another Coalescence. Just from spamming my abilities. I haven't pragged out. I've done nothing of mechanical value, and yet I have another ultimate already. And it just doesn't, it's not, back up, back up, back up, back up.
Once again, this is a really poor example of why Moira is busted. I almost have my ultimate because I was just spamming my abilities. What other heroes could you say this about?
Get ready to pull. I have a Coalescence skin.
Got it.
I'll tell you when.
Hold that. I can blade this.
Okay, pull now, pull now, pull now. I threw a heal orb, chat. I'm doing it wrong. And that's all you do. It's like, that's the big problem with Moira. It's like, players can climb without having to, like, they cheat the system, essentially. Like, what I'm doing right now is literally cheating the system, so I just get free value. I'm not fragging out, I'm not doing anything mechanically demanding, I'm just existing and using my abilities.
It might seem like that to you, but there are plenty of Moiras who are hard stuck at their rank, wherever that may be. You are once again playing in plat, so your game sense and decision making do not require much effort to sustain.
I'll throw a heal orb. I'll be a nice teammate and throw a heal orb, okay? Nah. Mercy low. And I almost have another call, chat. I've done, like, nothing that should give me these stats this whole time, and that's why Moira's broken, in a nutshell. Her abilities carry the player, and they allow you to bypass the mechanical skill gap whilst being more effective than people and other heroes and characters that require said mechanical skill to put out stats like that. No other hero in the game, besides maybe old Brig, is able to do that much damage while healing and not requiring skill, like enough skill to get that value out of the player.
You claim that you are rewarded for using abilities rather than skillfully using them, and that Moira does too much damage in combination with her duty of main healer. After watching this round, I will say that those damage numbers are not even close to what you could have been providing given your relative skill compared to these players. I pull similar numbers in GM that you get in plat. The higher you climb, the more difficult it is to pull off crazy plays like this. Of course, you didn't have to take into account every single ability usage in this game. You also bring up again that Moira has a lack of required mechanical skill to be effective. This could be said for a lot of heroes in the game, but let's ignore that for a second. Not once did I see any animation cancels or optimizations in damage or healing this game. You just coasted along with your team. I really only saw one aggressive Coalescence. Your Moira playstyle is super passive. This is why you think she's brainless, because you choose to play her in a brainless manner. You are not using her to her potential, so it would make sense that you feel underwhelmed by the experience. You also have a fairly competent team that is providing consistent DPS and good tanking.
I think to start, what they need to do is they honestly need to remove the damage orb entirely. Remove it or rework it so that it takes skill.
Once again, all because you don't know how to use damage orb more effectively does not mean it doesn't require skill.
It gives her a literally easy ult charge. It gives one easy ult charge and it requires nothing out of the player. Absolutely nothing. Not to mention it can randomly bounce off walls. Like, you can't have an ability like this in the game on a support. First of all, an ability like this shouldn't be in the game, right? Like, I would, like, saying this should be in the game is like saying scatter should be in the game. It's just as RNG. Sure, it's not as, like, one-shot potential as scatter, but it's the principle and the concept that matters, but it's just as effective in a sense, right?
No. Damage orb does not one-shot 400 HP tanks. There is literally nothing to compare here. If you die to damage orb, you are either out of position or playing like an idiot. It does 50 DPS. It's not that hard to play around. I don't think I've ever heard a serious complaint about damage orb from a high-ranked player.
Because I get like 12% or more on ult charge off of it, and since ults got nerfed in the game, Moira ult coming up quickly it was actually a huge buff to her. It was an indirect buff to her.
The global ult charge nerf was really not that big of a change.
So for one, this damage orbs just should not be on her kit, like at all. She's a support. The next reason it should be removed is because it gives her dual potential for absolutely nothing. Like, in order to do that kind of damage on another character, it takes like skill. You have to actually have aim and good positioning and game sense, but this orb does all of it for Moira.
You lack an understanding of Moira's hero design. She's supposed to be able to ward off flankers and hold her own in duels. If you are dueling a Moira 1v1, you already messed up. Don't blame a character's design for your bad choices.
Let's see how much I get off that. Probably about 12%, I'm assuming. 11%. I get like 11% on a like 6 or 7 second cooldown just by looking in their direction and doing that.
Nice exaggeration. The actual numbers are 8 to 9% ult charged on a 10-second cooldown.
It's really, really stupid. I have to look to peel my Zen here a lot. I'll talk about the other reasons next.
Doom left side coming in.
I need to dodge this Doom punch. I don't want to get naded from this Ana either. Oh, he canceled the sponge? I shouldn't be dead here. Where are y'all? That's sad.
Doom hack,
Max.
Doom hack.
Chat, I threw a heal orb. Flame me later.
I'm just gonna make another comment on how annoyingly passive your Moira playstyle is.
Dead.
Oh, heal her, heal her, heal her. Group up tanks, group up tanks. This is where I throw a heal orb, chat.
Fair hack.
Need to make sure we win this fight. We need to make sure we win this fight. Now, that was a risky call, but we had to win that fight, chat. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts. We just had to win. I wanted to be sure. It's better safe than sorry in that circumstance, and not regretting it now. So I actually have more damage done than healing, and I've been in like I have been looking to do a lot of damage, but again, that's my point. No other character in this game has been able to do stuff like this while requiring nothing aside from Broken Brig.
Much of the damage you're providing is trash damage to build up your ult. You could be securing way more kills had you been playing more aggressively. All because a Moira has high damage does not mean she is playing optimally.
And that's a problem with Moira. They need to either rework these abilities out of the game or make it so that, okay, no, they either need to remove these abilities from the game or they need to make it so that her kit requires some kind of skill by reworking it.
Personally, I would not be opposed to tightening the aim requirement on Moira's weapon and giving it more potency. Perhaps the closer the center of the beam is to the enemy, the more damage it does.
I'm doing nothing of merit to get this ult charge. I'm doing nothing of merit to get that extra damage and farm my ult.
Well, you are spamming your abilities down along sightline, just like everyone else on your team.
And yet I get rewarded for it anyway because this character is so easy to play.
You are choosing to play her passively. Of course it seems easy. Maybe try taking a risk now and then.
And look, even if I miss the orb, it bounces off like 16 walls and finds them anyway.
Unless you are super precise with an orb, it will most likely be lost after 1 or 2 bounces. When aiming orbs, it is really important to try and have them deplete before they bounce more than twice.
Sigma 1.
Doom's the left side, careful. He left. They have McCree instead of Fair now.
Okay. And I'm just sitting here spamming. And look at all this time it's happened, I've farmed another coal. And I've done nothing. Besides click 2 buttons, chat. I've done nothing.
Well, the enemy has also not decided to push forward, and you have not decided to apply pressure, so there's nothing to do. You could take a more aggressive angle and force the retreat, but you choose to sit there passively spamming orbs.
I'm gonna have another coalescence in a second. I'm sitting here doing nothing. I don't even need to write out of that.
Doom coming left. Doom left. He's hacked.
Fuck it.
Once again, you failed to combine your ult with a damage orb. This is really easy to anticipate, and there's almost no reason to not have an orb ready for your ult.
Owie.
No more ult.
Wraith is sponge.
If you actually played the hero, I don't think you would have called it a Wraith.
Yeah, here we are, chat. If I was playing on the point, I've had 5 gold medals. It's just silly. It's honestly silly, and it shouldn't be in the game. If you're gonna pax Doomfist the way he was paxed, you need to pax this out of the game. And her healing got a serious buff, chat. Like, the fact that the heal's longer over time means she doesn't have to commit more of her resources into that. Like, I can just tap my heals and they get value. Look at that, and they're gonna be full health. Okay, one. Man, really outskilling them.
Well, they did get EMP'd and then you got bongo boosted. It's not like they could do anything about it.
I did nothing besides click 2 buttons there. In her direction. I didn't have to, you know, use some crazy ability. I didn't have to, you know, juke out his aim. I can throw my damage orb and wraith behind him to clean up a kill and just get rewarded with the kill.
You were finally getting more aggressive for once, but it was merely to get some cleanup kills. These kills are often not as important as opening picks, which aggressive Moiras look for all the time. Getting a pick on a supporter DPS right before the fight is game-changing at high rank.
For free. And that's why Moira's broken. She doesn't require any mechanics at all to get this value.
Better mechanics on Moira provide more value in damage and healing. This is not debatable.
Yeah, man.
See, this Mercy kill took a decent amount of tracking. Now try it against a top 500 Mercy who actually knows evasive movement techniques.
Outskilled him. I'm just honestly, chat, the better player.
Yes, you are the better player. You are a top 500 DPS playing in plat.
GG guys.
Yo, nice game, everybody. 47-1. 47-1. My only death was at the start of the game where I got blind spam killed by a meh.
Of all the stats to point to, eliminations have to be the worst example to highlight, given you just have to breathe on an enemy to get the credit. Funny enough, Moira bragging about eliminations has always been the main talking point of DPS mains complaining about bad Moiras.
Now, granted, I'm in plat right now, or diamond right now, okay? Basically plat. But the concept remains the same. It's like I wasn't doing anything that required mechanical skill, and I couldn't put up numbers like that. Oh, oh my goodness. I couldn't put up numbers like that on any other character while those characters are more difficult to play.
I think you could carry harder on any DPS. You could have provided much more value from being more aggressive.
This is faulty game design and a fault in the meta that needs to be patched out to maintain balance in the game and fair play in the game.
Overarching, conclusive statement that doesn't really mean anything. I hope you guys enjoyed my critique of Samito's video. Please do not take this video as an excuse to harass him. I will not tolerate any harassment. Some of my points may come off as hostile to some, but know that I am really trying to look at this objectively. I do not know Samito personally. I am simply responding to his comments to try and clear up some misinformation I find deceiving. Thanks for watching.